Ray Morgan, and this is my beautiful wife.
Hello, I'm Rotunda Morgan.
And you're tuned in to Living
More
More
with the Morgans.
Okay, now that sounded good.
Yeah,
right?
that
finally
sounded
got
good.
it. Finally got it. The fourth time is a charm. And so, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We've been working out a ton of bugs, a ton of kinks and technical
Right.
difficulties. It actually rained in Dallas. We finally got
Right.
some rain, and so of all days, it would happen today right before the broadcast.
Right.
So we do apologize for all the technical difficulties and different things, but let us know that you can hear us, right? And so right
Please.
now, we're on several different channels. We're on my Facebook page at Landa and Morgan, and then we're also on the Facebook page for the podcast, and that is Living More the Morgans.
Yes.
Okay, Living More with the Morgans, right, on our Facebook page. And you can also tune in on Twitter, and that's twitter.com/Live More Morgans.
Right.
And then we're also on our brand new YouTube channel. There's nothing on there, it's just bare bones right now, but we're going to keep adding more content, adding more videos, and you can search for us right now on YouTube by going to Living More with the Morgans, right?
Yes.
So let us know that you can hear us. Everything sounds okay. The visual, the picture and everything looks okay. We're checking our apps right now just to make sure that you guys can hear us and everything is coming across clear. Looks like everything is coming across okay, so
Yes.
I hope it is on you guys' end as well. And again,
Yes.
hit us up in the comments and let
Please
us know.
let us know who is watching right now. We can see some people on right now.
Yes.
And please let us know that you can hear us real well, that you can see us. Let us know if there's any delays. Again, this is our fourth try, and we want to make sure that we don't delay anymore. So if you guys can do that for us, we would definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mom is on. Prophetess Beverly and Nikkei.
And my man Trevor. Trevor is on.
Yes.
Yes, and Apostle Ronald Davis is on. So people
Yes.
are getting on. So thank you so much again for
Thank
tuning in
you.
tonight, you guys. We do apologize for the technical difficulties, but guess what? I am the spiritual son of Apostle Sean Anike.
He's gonna get you.
Yeah, he gonna get me. I am his son.
He's gonna get
And
you.
and that man is super late, right? So y'all know for the first episode we had to experience some CP time. We had
Well,
to-
with the rain and everything that's going on here, we've in Dallas, Texas. We're in Dallas, and we've needed rain for a while, months.
absolutely.
And so we finally did get the rain. And when we did get the rain, guess what? We had difficulties.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yes. So, but we're here. We're on. We're glad to be here, and we hope you guys are excited because this is going to be awesome. We're out of the box. We're not traditional, conventional. We're out of the box. We're coming because we want people to live. And just like my husband said, and we said we're going to introduce ourselves to people who don't know us. And also I want to say that those who are watching right now, if you would please share our broadcast.
Absolutely.
Please.
So go to your Facebook page right now with this broadcast and hit that share button right now. Hit that share button. Share it to your wall. If you're in some different groups right now, share to different groups because we want to talk to everybody right now. This broadcast will let you know it's not for the young people, right? Not for the young people. So if you're a minor, you're under 18, you need to go ahead and go to bed. It's past your bedtime anyway, right?
Right.
You got homework you should be doing. You need to be in bed. But this is for grown people, grown adults who want to think outside the box, right? Who
Right.
want to do outside the box.
Right.
And that's one thing that we wanted to come with and just things that have been on our hearts is that we need to start living more. And what we're finding is a lot of people some people are just quitting on life, right?
Right.
And with all that's going on in the world, pandemics, recessions, inflation, gas prices going up, a lot of people didn't get their student loans forgiven like they thought they were, just $10,000 or whatever. And so a lot of people are giving up on life, right? And wanting to throw in the towel.
Right.
And it's been on our hearts for the past couple of months, like, people just can't just bonk out like that,
Right.
and just quit on life. And so if you guys are experiencing that in your lives as well, we want to just come in to encourage you.
Yes.
Now's the time to keep living and to
Yes.
keep going now's the time to go for the dreams.
Now-
right? Every dream that you used to have on the table
Yes.
that you felt wasn't going to come to pass or it
Right.
was too late or you were too old or you
Right.
didn't have the money.
Right.
You might not even have the money now and you might be a little bit older, but now is the time to pursue.
Right.
What do you think about that?
It is. It's time now. I mean, we've gone through so much, you guys, in the last 2 to 3 years now, with the pandemic, losing people, some people close to you, some people we didn't know. Right. In this country, we've lost over 1 million people. Worldwide, it's actually over 6 million people worldwide. Wow. And it is time for us to, so many people, we were talking about this the other day about prophetic, not gifts, but people have been given so many, prophesied to and all these different things. Mm-hmm. And they continue to want that. Yeah. But they haven't done anything with what they have been given.
All right, so here's the thing. You get a word, right?
Right.
Particularly those who are believers or in the church. We're talking to you.
Right.
And you've gotten a word, and you've been told that, hey, this is going to come to pass in your life, and then years have gone by.
Right.
And it looks like things aren't happening.
Right.
Right. Now, depending, I kind of equate that to the kind of order that you have.
Right.
Right. Because people who have a smaller order to fulfill, they might get theirs quicker. But if yours is a little bit longer, and you got a more customized order, then yours is going to take a little bit longer. Why? Because we know that God is getting the people prepared, but at the same time, He's getting you prepared.
Right.
And so, but also we need encouragement at this time. A lot of people are just like, they out of there. They just like, yo, I'm done. It's not going to happen. Right. I don't have the money to do this, whatever, Right. And we wanted to create this podcast not to come across as churchy and all that stuff, but to also bring the element of faith, because you got to have that. You got to have hope.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
You got to have hope.
Right. So we're here tonight. Again, we apologize for being so late. We had technical difficulty after technical difficulty, so we're finally on. We thank God. We were going to push anyway.
Oh yeah, and see that's the thing about living more.
That's what living more is. We don't give up.
We don't give up.
Right.
And you keep pushing.
You keep pushing. You keep going.
Despite the odds, despite the obstacles, the things that are thrown at you. And y'all, I can be a hothead. Let's just be real.
He was throwing everything around. He was throwing the dog, the cat, anything.
We ain't got no dog.
Oh.
You won't let us get one.
No, you were throwing stuff.
I was throwing stuff. On the cool, my office looks like a tornado because things weren't connecting, and the rain was, just jacking things up.
Yeah.
So, but we had to push through, and that's the whole point, is that even though life is going to throw some obstacles and different things at you, you have a purpose to fulfill, and you gotta get that thing done.
You have to.
By any means necessary.
You have to.
Right.
No matter what. So we want to introduce ourselves.
Yes. And so for those who don't necessarily know who my wife and I are, we are entrepreneurs and business owners coming straight out of corporate America, the corporate life. And we are the owners of a tech company, social media marketing digital design company called Infusion Design Solutions. And we've been in business since 2010, you guys. And we've been, actually 2008. Yeah. I always cut it off with 2 years. 2008. And so about 14 years in September. And y'all, it's been a whirlwind. And we've serviced clients here locally, nationally, and throughout the world.
Yes.
And you may have heard of a couple of them, the Vandale Andrews of the world, the Jacqueline Carrs of the world, the Bishop T.D. Jakes and the Potter's House of the world, the Christ Purpose International Church of the world. No, so, but we have been blessed and fortunate to touch a lot of businesses, whether they're celebrities or artists. Or companies, here around the world. Book writers, authors, exactly. Right. And so we built that business really out of necessity. Right. And we were seeing that there was a void in the whole graphic design industry, particularly at that time. Again, this is 2008, 2009-ish. And so things were a lot different then than they are now. You didn't have as many options with things that you have now. And so we'll talk more about our businesses and different things like that. My wife, she's a personal trainer. She can tell you about her business, Coach Row Fitness.
Yes, I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer now for 6 years. And I started years and years ago. I'm a sports fanatic, fitness guru. I love sports. I love fitness. Before I met my husband, I wanted to be a bodybuilder. And my mother was against it, of course, when I was in high school. And so once I met my husband, he was like, no, he didn't like that. But at that time, that dream of being a bodybuilder, I was like, I'm over that. I don't want to do that. So I started Fit Girl Fitness. And when I started and I got my certification and everything, I ended up, thinking, okay, well, this name doesn't really fit me. So I went ahead and started thinking about a new name. So I said, okay, Coach Rose sounds better. And my husband, I was trying to find a name that whole time.
Hold up, who came up with Coach Rose?
My husband came up with it. And see, he's tripping. I'm going to tell you why. Because when I was thinking of a name, I said, hey, honey, help me find this name. He wouldn't say a word. It's your business, babe. It's your business. So finally, he just come up with, why don't you call it Coach Rose? I was like, really? All this time for weeks. I'm asking our spiritual mom, and I'm asking her to help. My daughter's helping. They're sending me stuff via text, and we finally come up with the name. So I'm a personal trainer as well, and love it. Right now, I don't have a lot of clients. I'm not, because we have so many, different things that we're doing now with our business. But that's just a little bit about me.
Right, and so, and then we also have a company that we started with two amazing gentlemen who we call our spiritual sons, our extended family in Nigeria. And it's a company that's called Quick KK. Yes. And Quick KK is a rideshare transport company that utilizes KKs, or what are known in some parts of the world as rickshaws or motorized tricycles. And we started this business in Nigeria, and we finally got registered actually last month or earlier this month. Earlier this month we got registered finally. So after years after months, of pushing through, we went to Nigeria in November. It felt like years, right? And we finally got it registered earlier this month. And again, that's just a testament to pushing through. And looking to live more. And so you guys, we're entrepreneurs, but at the same time, we're not trying to make this look glamorous, because this entrepreneur life is not glamorous at all. But it is fulfilling, it is rewarding. Yes. But we'll get more into those kinds of things throughout this broadcast. We're going to talk about business, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, we're going to talk about travel, we're going to talk about faith, we're going to talk about love, we're going to talk about intimacy, we're going to talk about sex.
Yes. Y'all still there?
Yeah. We're going to talk about sex and all that. Right? Why? Because so many people, in marriages in particular, are failing, man, because of lack of communication, lack of intimacy. And so those are things that are kind of taboo that we're not really talking about. Right? And people outside of the faith-based world are talking about these things, and they're experiencing these things, and they staying together. And there's us that are losing our marriages. What's up with that?
And honey, you need to tell them who you are. Talk a little bit about who you
I'll talk a little about me. I was trying to be modest. I was trying to be modest.
I know you
but
were.
Before we get into me, I do want to acknowledge some people that have tuned in on the broadcast. And again, we want you guys, share it on your page, share it on your wall, share it in your groups. This is going to get good, I promise you. This is just the first episode, and right now we're working it out. And it is going to be available on all of the podcast platforms, right? So everywhere that you want to listen to your podcast online, Spotify, Anchor, Odyssey, all those different places, eventually here soon, before the winter months, it will be available on podcast platforms as well. And so I just want to acknowledge those who have tuned in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting, right? That's what we need more of, you guys, is we need more support from one another, and so we appreciate that. I want to, Jennifer Benton, I believe Jennifer, I think you're in Atlanta, if I'm correct. Let me know if I'm correct in that. I think you're in Atlanta, and you're doing some incredible marketing work out there with different faith-based churches and artists and just everybody. So thank you so much, Jennifer Benton, for tuning in. My man Trevor again. Trevor, it's been a minute, bro. Where you been, bro?
Where you at, bro?
Where you at, man? You missing in action, pimping? Sister Tony Peters, my sister.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much for
Love
tuning
you.
in. Where's my man, Apostle Larry? I hope you're on.
Yes.
I hope you're tuning in. We love you guys, and thank you so much for checking on us on last night. My man, Ronald Davis, Apostle Ronald Davis, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much, Apostle.
Fam, we appreciate you
Yes.
so much. Who else is on here, man?
Bishop Shields.
Bishop
Thank you,
Shields.
Bishop.
Bishop Shields. Now, you know it's past your bedtime, Bishop.
Bishop don't pay attention to him.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Thank you so
and so many other
much.
people who have tuned in. Thank you guys so much for just joining in. My
Yes.
sister Patrice Snowden is on. My
Yes.
sister Benita Brady. Benita,
Thank
big
you.
sister Benita. Thank you so much for
Yes.
tuning
Kevin.
in. Angel.
And Angel,
Angel
yes.
and Kevin and Huma, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We just wanted to shout you guys out.
Mom is on.
Yes.
Prophetess
Beverly, yes,
Anike.
absolutely,
She said,
Mama.
don't talk about my man like that.
You know I'm a clown him.
He gonna
You
clown
know
us.
I'm a clown him. But anyway, but just to tell you guys a little bit about me, I'm an artist by heart. You know, I'm a musician.
Right.
I'm a creative to the core. And one thing about me, if you know me, I love God and I love people, and I genuinely love people. And I'm a little bit out the box. I'm a little probably eccentric, if you can tell, because you know I believe in being yourself, and I believe in having your own flavor. God gave each person their own flavor, so why would I be somebody else?
Right.
Why are people trying to duplicate how somebody else already does it, right? And so I've always just kind of lived by my own mantra, if you will, and just kind of stayed in my own lane and do my own thing. Right now, the hair is looking like matted grits, and so I had to cover the hair because I was sweating and I was doing all kinds of things. So next episode, I'm gonna be tossing it. I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna be tossing the hair. That's what you want.
You guys pray for me.
That's what she wants, though. She want me to let the hair down and just. And I'm gonna do it. Do it next episode. But anyway, so yeah, and so I got into entrepreneurship when I was about 2006. Like I said, we both came out of the corporate world.
Yeah, I'm an accountant.
She's an accountant.
Yes.
I was doing graphic design and UI UX design and marketing and different things like that. I was also doing like data entry and everything in corporate America for several years. And so we kind of, our journey, my journey in entrepreneurship really began in 2006 out of necessity. We were dating around that time, kind of really off and on dating. And when
he was tripping, y'all.
We'll get into that.
That's what he was doing.
I wasn't tripping.
He was tripping.
I wasn't tripping.
He was tripping.
There was some technical difficulties going on.
No,
at
it
the
was
time.
some technical stupidity going on.
Whatever. So we were dating at the time, and we had started a clothing line, a couture line.
Right.
And we didn't have any money. We had an investor at the time.
Yes.
And we just didn't really know what to do. Websites were totally different than they are now.
Right.
And so I knew nothing about graphic design. I knew nothing about software applications. I didn't know any of that. And so we went to a website development company, Black-owned company here in Dallas. I think they were called the Design Factory.
Yeah.
They did exceptional work.
That's true.
And we went to them, and we went with them with our vision. We gave them our idea, and they handed us back a price.
Right.
And that price I believe, was like $6,000. Now, they were worth every penny, worth every penny for that amount of money. We just didn't have that money. Right. And so if we would have had it, we would have had the budget for it, we would have totally paid them and they would have built our website.
Right.
But it was probably meant to work out that way because I literally went home that day and I went on the internet and I think Google was around at that time, and I Googled how to build a website.
Yeah.
And I was looking up videos, I was looking up tutorials, whatever, little blogs and stuff back then, and I was going to Barnes and Nobles actually and pulling up books and everything as well. And so the rest was history. But it was a lot of failure.
Yeah.
There was a lot of falling on your face, a lot of hurdles and things that I had to climb to get to where we are today. But like I said, this podcast, we're going to go deep into that, right? We're going to go into all the processes of things and how we're here and how you're still here, right? Because you too have been through some things that has knocked you down. Or knocked you down, or knocked you out, or things that have tried to challenge you from getting to where you want to be, right? And so the whole premise of living more is pushing through all of that, pushing through all the rigmarole, pushing through what you've been through in your childhood, pushing through what you're going through probably even right now, you know, in shaky marriages or shaky relationships, whatever that you find yourself going through right now. Yo, you want to get to the other side.
There's life on the other side of that.
And so, right now, we had a storm pass through, but what did it do? It passed through.
Right.
It didn't stay.
No.
Right? And it knocked out some things, and it made some things difficult while it was here.
Right.
But guess what? The storm didn't stay.
Right.
And just like the storm in your life, yo, that's not going to stay.
No.
That's going to eventually pass away. And your job is to remain consistent and steadfast so that you get to the other side of that storm.
And we're here to encourage you to do that. And I want you guys to understand one thing as well. We're not experts by any means, okay? We're here to learn from each other. And there's strength in that. So many times people come out as, okay, they've been doing something for 2 months and now they're the experts. You're not an expert, okay? Right. You're not. Life is life. I'm up to this point in my life, I know what I know. Okay, right. Someone after what my age is know what they know. Right. My husband knows what he knows. We're not experts, but we want to, when we say living more, we want people to start to really live their lives. Okay,
and I think when you say experts, right, people, and I don't use that term either, honey, because I think when you say that you're an expert in something, that means you don't have any more room to learn.
That's exactly right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's exactly right.
If you're an expert in something, then there's nothing else that you need to learn in that.
Right.
And so you got it all figured out.
Right.
Right? No. And you don't need to add any more information, no more knowledge. You just got it. You just know it all. Mm-hmm. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
In anything that you're doing.
Right.
And so, no, we're not experts at this, but we know what we've been through and we know what we've experienced. And hopefully our experience and what we've gone through, you know, will help other people in their relationship, in their lives.
Yes.
Right. My wife and I, one of the things that we're going to do on this podcast, is talk about travel, right? Because we're finding that a lot of people are just kind of staying stationary and neutral, and they're not going out and seeing the world. And why? Because there's some fear there. Right. Really, it's really based in a lot of fear. Oh, I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to, I don't want to do this. I don't want to rock the boat. And we're staying, and the enemy has us fearful to go out and about. And when we do that, we stunt our growth. We stunt our communication with one another, with other people. We don't go explore and find out other cultures.
Right. And you don't know what is out there for you.
Right.
Sometimes we stay safe, and we don't understand that playing it safe is not always going to yield you what God has for you or what God has out there for you. Right. So travel for us and travel for many is a way, not a way of escape, but it's a way for us to learn of ourselves, other cultures, and you don't know what God has for you. There's a blessing there could be for you there. So we want people to understand what traveling really is, and not to fear. The Bible says God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but He gave us power, love, and a sound mind. So if Christ is in you, what is the fear? Right. So we want to talk about the fear of living. Because people are not living. You can always go to Arkansas and Oklahoma. Please, Arkansas, Oklahoma people, I'm not talking about you guys. Clowning, I'm not clowning. I'm being serious. But there's more out there to see. Right. The landscape, what God has created is absolutely amazing.
And I think as people of faith that we definitely
we are.
And many people who may be tuning in may consider themselves people of faith. Right. We're going to come usually from an angle of faith and our hope, and that is in God and Christianity. But the thing of it is that if you're a person of faith, then the furthest thing from your mind and from your heart should be the fear of something, or the fear of failure.
But when you're not exposed to those things,
that's true.
It's easy for that point. I'll make a point. I was raised in a small town in East Texas, and I grew up on a ranch. We had cattle, so we had a farm. And I was not exposed to a lot of traveling. I've gone to California, and I've gone actually to Portland, Oregon, and places like that. But a lot of traveling, I've never been in New York. I've never been outside of the country up until I would say I was in my pretty much late 20s when I started traveling outside of the United States. So I didn't do it in my early 20s. Why? Because of fear of the unknown. Someone will always come to say, hey, I wouldn't do that. You're a woman. You need to stay home. You don't have a man with you? And at the time I was, going through a divorce or at that time and separation. So people would have so many negative things to say or so many negative, things to tell you that began to bring that fear on. So a lot of times people don't do certain things is because of people telling them or being exposed or being around people who would say, I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't do that if I were you.
So one of the things that you're saying, what it sounds like you're saying, is that sometimes people unintentionally dump fear on you.
That's right.
And
even your parents.
Even your parents,
Right.
even your family members and people who love you
Right.
will dump fear on you. And so you will put yourself in this cage or in this prison
Right.
and not allow yourself to experience certain things
That's
or go
right.
through with certain ideas or different things that you wanted to do in
Right.
life because they have dumped this fear
That's right.
on you.
That's right.
And so and I find that to be very prevalent within our culture and our community as African Americans.
It's true. And my mother, I love her. She's wonderful. But she was actually one of those that, be careful. No, don't go there. Don't do this. Don't do that. And it's not because she didn't want me to go. It's because of, there were circumstances that she went through, with losing her first child. And I'm the second child. So that right there brought that fear factor in. Right. So she was like, I don't want you, I don't want to lose you.
And I think that's where it's birthed from.
Right.
A lot of fear
Yeah.
from other people is birthed from the things that they've experienced.
Right, absolutely.
And so again, they unintentionally kind of put that on you
Yes.
to say, if I were you, I wouldn't do that
Right.
because I went through this.
Right.
And when I tried it, it didn't work out.
That's
or when
right.
I tried it, this is what happened to
That's
me.
right.
And we have to understand that now that we need to live more, we can't always go by what mama told us or what
Yeah.
papa told us or
Right.
what dad told us or whatever, or what our friends from back in the day told us. You've got something in your gut, or you got something that you've been called to do, or something that you want to experience in life,
Yes.
then go and do it. I know
Go
people
do it.
who won't travel outside of their state or won't travel internationally because they're afraid that something might happen in the air.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, you got more accidents that happen on the ground than you do in the
Yeah,
air,
you
right?
do.
But the perception is, oh, it could happen in the air,
Right.
And that's the negative perception of travel that, again, a lot of African Americans in our community may have about traveling abroad,
Right.
and so they miss that opportunity and miss those experiences to experience other cultures,
Right.
that are not going to be up the street. Like you mentioned, they're not going to be in Louisiana, probably.
Right.
They're not going to be in Arkansas. They're not going to
Right.
be in Vegas, right? And so we tend to go to safe places.
Right. And do
Right?
safe things.
And do safe things.
Right.
But then what happens, what I found, is we do these safe things, and then when we see other people
Right.
going and experiencing, going and traveling, going and taking risks,
Right.
going and starting their businesses in a down economy,
Right.
then we start kind of getting envious. We start kind of getting a little jealous and like, okay, well, what makes them think that they can do that?
Right.
Right.
And again, we're here to push you into living, into joy, into finding yourself, into finding your purpose.
Yeah.
That is why we're here, to push you. And guess what it does? It pushes us too.
Absolutely.
Even the more.
Absolutely.
And in everything, whether you own a business, whether you work at a company or what have you, we're here to push you to live more of life, and stop playing it safe, and stop thinking that life is over because you haven't accomplished this, that, or the other.
Right. I was just going to go there.
Right? You have to live now. It's not over.
Right.
If it was over, then you wouldn't be watching me right now.
Exactly.
It's not over. So this is why Living More with the Morgans has been birthed, because we are here to make sure that you know that God wants you to live.
And this was a stretch for us. Right?
It was a stretch.
This was a stretch for us with resources. This was a stretch
Right.
for us, you know, in many things, even
Right.
mentally for me, right? There was a discomfort that I had with being on camera.
Yes.
Right. Over the years, and I can on this channel we can definitely be transparent, and we're going to be honest.
Yes.
You know, I had picked up weight.
Yeah.
You know, being an entrepreneur, working long, late hours, not getting enough sleep, not eating the best, and all these different things. So I knew that there was a perception or a way that people who knew me saw me, right? They saw me thin, they saw me look a certain way. And so because I wasn't necessarily the same weight that I was and used to be,
Right.
I had this, you know, I had this in my head like, well, no, I don't want to be behind the camera because
Right.
I don't want people to not see me how I used to be.
Right.
I was uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable with myself.
Right.
But what I found that it was doing, it was keeping us broke.
Right.
It was keeping us from connecting with other people that
Right.
needed what we had,
Right.
and vice versa.
Right.
And so I had to get that fear again,
Right.
that fear of thinking, oh, I'm going to not be effective, or I'm not going to come across the screen the way I want to.
And look, we all have changed, okay?
Right.
Nobody is still the same size. Most of us are not the same size we were in high school. We all have changed. We all have gone through different things in life where we either picked up weight, lost weight,
Right.
we don't look the same. We've gone through some trauma, some different things. I mean, your father passed,
Absolutely.
gone through that trauma and all of that. We all have changed. But what he's saying is true, because what the enemy does is he puts in your head that you're not effective. Nobody wants to see that. You're too big, you're too old, you're too young, you're too this, you're too that.
And that's but the thing is with that, honey, though, people clown today, right? And that was the thing that was my hang up, is that social media gives you, you have to have a certain vulnerability when it comes to social media, right? And I'm by nature, I'm a very private person. I'm the introvert, you're the
I'm the
extrovert,
extrovert.
you're the social butterfly. I'm the
Right.
one who kind of tends to observe and, chill in the cut. And so to be vulnerable through social media, that was new for me.
Right.
And I had to see that the landscape of business was going towards that. Right, the CEO was no longer the fat cat sitting up in the office hidden from people.
Right.
The CEO now is just as visible as those that are on the ground and the employees doing the work.
Absolutely.
So in order for me to involve and shift with the time and shift with the business climate,
Right.
I had to make myself vulnerable in a way. Now I don't give up all my privacy. I'm not telling all my business.
No.
But I had to do it in a way that was calculated, but also that comes across genuine.
Right.
And I was afraid to do that because, like I said, in my mind, I knew people looked at me or last remembered me what I looked like 20 some odd years ago in high school.
Right.
This big around.
Right.
And so, like you said, life happened.
Right.
Where I lost my father, I lost family members, I lost my sister.
Right.
All these different things happened. Business, things in business failed.
Right.
We failed several times, many
Yes,
times.
many times.
Depression, suicidal
Yes.
thoughts that we've both gone through.
Yes.
You losing babies and all these
Yes.
different things that we've gone through. And so there may be people out there that are watching that don't want to, that have felt not to fully pursue their gift, their talent, or their call because you have this in your head of what people are looking at you as, right? They're looking at you in a certain way, or
what are they thinking?
or what they think about you,
Right.
right? Or they remember you this way. And I would tell you, as someone who has experienced that and who has gone through that and who's still going through that, is you got to push through that, because again, on the other side of that are breakthroughs. On the other side of that are doors. On the other side of that are opportunities that you want to be able to walk in.
And something that we're all going to talk about and deal with. We're going to have to deal with worrying about what other people think.
Right.
We have to get past that. If we never get past that, we will never, ever see the blessings and the things that God has for you.
Right.
If you don't get past what other people are talking about you, whether you're doing good or whether you're doing bad, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters is what have you done here that has made a significant impact in the lives of people or whatever God called you to do. That's what matters.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. Yeah. So we're going to get free of that. We're going to get free of what people think, what people are saying. A lot of times we have to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes people aren't saying anything. It's what we think of ourselves.
Right. And oftentimes, you're exactly right. It's usually what we think of ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's usually us talking to ourselves and saying to ourselves, I'm not good enough. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough this. I didn't come from the right family. I don't, we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Right.
And we're sitting here thinking that other people are thinking that about us. Right. And so we have to push past those things. And so in order to live more, it's going to start in your own head first.
Right.
It's not about, I got to change the scenery that I'm around, or I got to jump on an airplane and go fly to Brazil. No, that's not where it starts. Where it starts is the mentality, the perception that you have of yourself, your self-esteem, right? That's how you begin to start living more, right? So we're going to take a quick break, you guys. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back. And again, those who are tuning in for the first time, we appreciate you so much for tuning in. Again, take this time, share.
Please share.
Like, hit us up in the comments.
Yes.
I guarantee you after the broadcast, we'll respond to each comment that is left on there. And also, if you're on YouTube, go check us out on YouTube. Search for Living More with the Morgans. You'll see our beautiful pictures there. And you can go ahead and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
More and more content is going to be added. More episodes. Y'all, it's coming. We finna bring it, right?
Yes.
And so give us a second. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to check out some of these messages from our sponsors, all right?
The truth.
All right, you guys, and we're back. And thank you for tuning in again for Living More with the Morgans. If you're just tuning in or you just tuned in recently, my name is Landa and Morgan, and this is my beautiful wife.
I'm Rotunda Morgan.
And again, this is
Living More with the Morgans.
Okay, we got it that time.
Okay.
Can I get it for the bone? Already. So again, we're talking about getting it out of your mentality. All the stipulations, all the things, all the blockage that you were thinking about yourself. That's how you're going to begin to start living more.
That's right.
And again, like I said, we'll get into the travel, we'll get into experiencing other things, we'll get into the marriage, we'll get into all those great things that we can talk about. But first, it begins with a change in you.
Right. And even single, we were single before we were married. So we're also going to talk about that as well. And, waiting in your singleness. Everybody don't wait, of course not, And we want to talk about that. We don't want people to feel ostracized because they didn't.
Right.
We want to talk about that as well.
Exactly. And I think there's a lot of people that are that may be single right now that are tuned in and are like, okay, well, when is my time coming? When is my
Right.
turn coming?
Right.
Right now, you're still probably in the preparation stage for that person to be sent to you, right?
Yes.
And so you want to be well prepared, you want to be well knowledgeable, and you want to already be living more.
Right.
So when that person comes to you, they're not subtracting from you.
Right. They're adding.
They're adding more to the more that you're already experiencing
That's
for
right.
yourself.
That's
But if
right.
you're living in this fear, or you're living in this doubt, or you're living in this self-defeated mentality of yourself, then that person can come and want to add more to you. But you won't receive that more.
Right.
You won't let that more build you up because you're so depleted
Right.
of what you already need.
That's
right?
right.
And so we want, and then I would tell people, even our married couples that are out there that are watching, you want to be around other people, other couples,
Yes.
right, that are adding to you, that are adding knowledge, that are adding wisdom to you, that are
Right.
rooting you on,
Right.
that are cheering you on for
Right.
you and your spouse to make it.
Right.
And that's what we had. When we were going through things, and we'll get into this more in subsequent episodes, but when we were going through difficulties in our marriage, thank God that we had couples. We had
Yes.
people who had gone through it. They had been tested by time as well.
Yes.
And so they were able to help us navigate through uncharted waters that we weren't familiar with. Like, yo,
Right.
what is this?
Right.
And so you want people in your lives that are for you, that are going to add to you,
Right.
and not deplete you and
Right.
subtract from you.
And who's going to tell you the truth? Okay. A lot of times in marriage and stuff, we don't realize that we bring two different worlds together.
Right.
Okay. His what he thinks, his ideas, my ideas, and we're trying to merge these two different worlds together.
Right.
And a lot of times it's not because there's somebody sitting over there waving a magic wand saying, oh, I'm gonna make them do this today, I'm gonna make them act like this today. No, it's us.
Right.
It's us, and we have to learn that when you come into a marriage, you can't bring those negative things, those things that are not good for your marriage in it. So we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to get into that so that people will understand and begin to see. Like we spoke about this today.
Right.
Begin to see ourselves.
Right.
What is it in me that's adding to my marriage?
Exactly.
And what is it in me that may be taken away from my marriage?
And the thing is, sometimes in order to get more, you have to cut off what's unnecessary.
What's unnecessary?
Right?
Right.
And so it's like, in order to prune, you have to cut off.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
So that you can create more fruit, and so you can have more fruit.
Right.
But if you're keeping on the dead weight,
Right.
if you're trying to put new wine in old wineskins, it's going to suffer every time. Something's going to burst.
Yeah.
Something's not going to be beneficial.
Right.
And so you may have some people, fam. You may have some people, or some even some family members, or some old friends, some old high school buddies, or whatever people you used to run with, that now that you are married, you might have to cut that. You might have to cut some of that off, or cut some of it back, because you don't want that negativity to bleed into
Right.
the now where you're trying to get more and you want to get more.
Right.
Right? It's like a rocket ship. I think about a rocket ship going into space, and then it has to take up all these weights and all the anchors that
Yes.
kept that rocket in
Has to
place
fall
on
off.
Earth.
Right.
All that stuff has to fall off, and they
That's right.
design it to do that.
That's right.
They design those things to make that stuff fall off, so that when that rocket breaks through the atmosphere, that stuff can't stay on that rocket. It's
No.
propelled so high,
Right.
and it's going so fast, and there's so much heat and pressure
Right.
that stuff can't hold that rocket, and eventually it has to fall back
has to
to
fall
the
off.
earth.
Right.
When that's where you are.
Yes.
God is looking to propel some things in you, but if you start keeping those people around you that kept you where you were 20 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 5 years ago, then you're not going to propel further, and you may not experience the more that you could be experiencing.
Right. That's right.
And so,
right.
again, if you guys have any questions, jump on here
Please.
on the Facebook post.
And any suggestions
Yeah.
about what topics you guys
Exactly.
want us
We want to hear
talk
from you.
about.
This
Yes.
this is a podcast for
you.
Right? This ain't
For us.
just for me and my wife to sit here and talk.
Right.
This is about you. We want to help you. So if you have any suggestions, please be sure you can inbox us on our Facebook page at
Yes.
facebook.com/Living More Morgans. Go befriend that page right now.
Right.
On your Facebook. After this, right now on the broadcast, you can go to that page, Living More Morgans, or you can type in the search Living More with the Morgans, and you'll find us. All right.
Yes.
Hit that like button, follow us, hit that inbox, and send us some ideas. Send us some
Yes.
topics that you want to discuss.
Yes.
And nothing is off the table.
Nothing.
Nothing is off the table, right? So like I said, we're talking about intimacy, we're talking about marriage, we're talking about sex,
Right.
all that good stuff. We're going to get deep, we're going to get raw on this channel, on this podcast, we're going to get deep and we're going to get raw.
Right.
Because we need to. Right? We need to. Right now
Right.
with what everything is going on in the world, we're going to have some real talk and real discussions, right? And we're going to really hammer out some things.
So we can break free
Absolutely.
and live.
Absolutely. So again, I want to acknowledge some people that have jumped on. My man Lawrence Sanders Jr., what's going on,
Thank
Chief?
you, Lawrence.
Christopher Bradley, what's going on, boss? Thank you so much for tuning in. My man Brent Butler, he tuned in. Our sons, Daniel and Joshua Obanga,
Who
they've
should
tuned
be
in.
asleep.
Y'all need to be asleep. It's already morning time there in Nigeria. What y'all doing up?
We love you,
We love you
sons.
guys. Thank you so much
Thank
for tuning in.
you.
My girl Alexis, I ain't seen her since high school. She's tuned in.
wow.
Iffy, the Dominator.
The
Dominator.
Dominator
Y'all,
is
hold up,
on?
hold up.
Oh,
hold
boy.
Up.
Hey.
Hold up. I need to sit at
Wait a minute.
my right posture
Wait
now.
a minute. Let me sit
Because
up.
Iffy the Dominator's on.
Are you serious?
On the cool. Iffy, thank you so much for tuning in. Iffy, you have been a breath of fresh air. You've been a life changer. If y'all who are tuning in, if you don't know who Iffy is, Iffy Akekowa, I believe I said her last name
Yes.
correctly, but she goes by the moniker Iffy the Dominator.
Yes.
You can check her out on YouTube. Iffy, type in IFY the Dominator. This sister is the real deal. She's
The
a life
real
coach. She's for
deal.
women and men.
Men, yes.
And you guys, she is the real deal. I
promise you this.
I don't push everybody, because everybody who says they're a life coach and everybody who says they're a motivator and all this stuff, they're not. But this sister is the real deal.
Yes.
Iffy the Dominator. You guys go check her out.
And she comes on every Wednesday on
Wednesday at
Facebook.
1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
You guys need to follow Iffy the Dominator. You need to check her out at 1 o'clock. If you're eating lunch, you can,
You'll wanna tune
You'll
in.
want to tune in.
Yes.
I promise you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so
30 minutes, and it is the bomb 30 minutes.
my man School and Eric Morgan, he's got the same
School.
last name of us,
He
man. You need to
does.
tune in, brother. We need to have you on the episode, you and Omega.
Yes, we would love to
With
have
living
you on
more
the
with
show.
the Morgans,
Yes.
Morgans, and Morgans, and
And
Morgans.
Morgans,
Yes.
yeah.
So Omega and School, thank you guys so much
Thank
for tuning in.
you. Thank you.
Apostle Timba, all the way out, I believe he's in Seattle, Washington area.
Apostle, bless you, sir.
Thank you so much. He
Yes.
said your impact on the African continent is visible. You have a place in the motherland. Y'all,
Wow. Eee.
Africa. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Right? That's a whole nother podcast about
That's
Africa.
a whole nother podcast.
So thank you guys so much, and our sister again, Tony
Thank you.
Peters and Larry Peters.
Thank you,
We
brother
love you
and
guys so much,
sister.
and thank you
And
again
Mom.
for tuning in. Yes, Prophetess
Yes.
Beverly, our mom, our mother in the faith,
Yes.
our spiritual mama. You guys, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you're looking for some spiritual get up and go, right? You're looking
Yeah.
for something real, something raw.
Yes.
You're looking for something that's tangible, that has fruit.
Yes.
We invite you to Christ Purpose International
Come
Church.
out.
Come out,
Be our
experience
guest.
it, be our guest. Sundays at 10:30 a.m. We're just gonna put in a
It
little.
would change
Oh
your
man.
life.
Oh man. And so just to let you guys know, this couple has been undergirding us for several years now.
Yeah.
And it's been
Seven.
others, shout out to
Big
the Scotts,
C.
Big
Yes,
C,
the
Charles
Scotts.
Scott and his wife Cherry
Miss
Scott.
Cherry.
I mean, when we were going through and about to call it quits, I mean, this couple
Yes.
jumped in
And yes, we were about to call it quits.
and we're about to call
going
it
to talk
quits.
about
So we'll
that.
talk about that. Yeah, they jumped in and pulled us out of the water.
Yes.
And so to the Scotts,
Yes.
Charles and Cherry Scott, just others, my man Howard Rose.
Yes, Howard Rose.
Just so many people
Yes.
who sharpened us when we were dull.
Right.
right? And iron sharpens iron, and that's what they came in and did. And so
Yes.
we're indebted to you guys. We're
Yes,
grateful for you guys.
absolutely
But you guys, we know it's getting late.
Yeah.
We started a little bit later than we wanted to, but we thank you
Yes.
guys for tuning in.
Yes.
Again, let us know what you think. What can we do to get better? It's
Right.
going to get better,
Oh,
right? It's going to get much better. The graphics, the scenery, the camera work, all that's going to get better. But I'll tell you this, before we leave, you want to start in excellence. And you want to keep progressing in excellence. But you want to start. And oftentimes, a lot of people are not starting because they don't have all that they think they need or all that they want. You guys, I am a consummate perfectionist as well.
He's telling the truth.
Right? And I beat myself up for not having it perfect.
Yes.
I beat myself up for not having the resources and all the different things, because as a creative, we see the finished product, or we hear the finished product sometimes before we even get started.
Yeah.
And so because I can see something finished from afar, there's this in between that brings the frustration.
Yes.
This in between that you have to make tweaks and changes to. And so as a creative, sometimes we're not ready for that because we saw it this way.
Right.
And we see it perfected.
Right.
And so
But what does that cause?
It causes delay.
It causes delay.
It causes procrastination.
Yes.
And so I would admonish you guys who are watching, who have something that you have on your heart to do, whether it's business, whether it's a ministry, whether it's starting something, it's starting a restaurant, or recipe, or whatever that thing is that you have to travel. You want to go experience and go see the world. Stop procrastinating.
Yeah.
Get you a game plan together. Look at your resources. Be realistic.
Right.
And then come up with a plan of attack. And you may not know all of what to do.
That's right.
I surely didn't when putting this podcast together. I'm not, the most learned person when it comes to video production, all those different things. But I didn't want that to stop us.
No.
Because I knew we had something to say.
That's right.
And the time to say it is now.
Right. And much given, much required. But at the same time, what we said earlier, we pushed past that. We weren't going to put a graphic out there saying, it's been canceled. No. We pushed past that. The storms came. We realized that, and once my husband calmed down and stopped throwing the goat out the back of the room. No, I'm kidding. But once we got it together, we realized that we have to keep going, and that's what God wants us to do. Push past your pain, push past your fears, push past I don't have, push past all of that.
Yes.
Because when you do, will you only see what you were waiting to see on the other side, but you will see growth in yourself.
Exactly. And my sister, Crystal Lewis, thank you for tuning in. She said,
thank you.
Don't despise small beginnings.
Do not.
Don't despise the days of small beginnings.
That is absolutely the truth, Crystal.
And that's what sometimes we do as perfectionists, as creatives, as people who have a vision, right? Is that we don't want to start small. And oftentimes, we don't want to start small, or we don't want to start at a certain level because that doesn't look like how we saw it, or we're still thinking about how others are going to perceive what it is that we're starting. Right? Because we want people.
That's that thing.
And that's that thing.
We're worried about what people.
Exactly. We're worried about what
think.
people are going to think.
Right.
Instead of executing and doing what is in our heart to do. And so we've got to kill that thinking. We've got to kill what other people are going to think or say about us. And like my wife said earlier, there are going to be people that you can give them $1 million today, and they still gonna hate your guts. Right. You can dedicate your baby and name them after them. Name that baby after them folks, and they still gonna hate your guts. So you're not gonna be able to please everybody. But you're not here to please everybody. You're here to please God. And you're here to do what you've been put here to do. And so we just want to encourage you guys to stop the procrastination, to stop the frustration.
Stop beating yourself up.
Stop beating yourself up. Stop looking at what you don't have.
That's right.
and start looking at what you do have.
What do you have? You know, the Bible says, you know, look what you have. What do you have in your hand?
Right.
What do you have in your hand?
And that was, you know, and we think about, you know, the passage of scripture where, you know, God was telling Moses, look what's in your hand, bro.
What's in your hand?
What did I give you?
That staff.
You're sitting here stopping.
Right.
These chariots and these horsemen are coming after you.
They're coming.
With spears and javelins,
Right.
and you sitting here stopping, questioning me,
With
what do
all
we do
these
now?
people that God has told you to
Exactly.
lead.
And you got 20 million people out here
Right.
in the heat,
Right.
you know, and God is saying to you, Moses, well, what's that I put in your hand?
Right.
What do you have? Use what I have. Use the authority that I've given
Right.
you. Use the resources that I've given you.
Because you know why? There's people that are waiting on you.
Exactly. And they're waiting on how you're going to do it.
Right.
Right? They're not waiting on how someone else has done it.
No.
So stop thinking that someone else is going to come and provide the answer.
Right.
When you are the answer.
You're the answer.
And how you're sent to do it is
That's
going to
right.
be that answer.
That's right. That's right.
And you know, Iffy actually reiterated that to me a couple of days ago during our conversation, where she said, "It's going to be how you bring it. It's going to be how you bring it to people that is going to make the change."
That's right.
And so we do ourselves and we do people a disservice when we don't do it,
Right.
when we delay it, when we procrastinate, or when we try to do it the way someone else has done it.
Absolutely.
And let me share this. Let me say this while I'm there. We need to, in order to start living more, you can't live a duplicate life of what someone else has lived.
No.
And you can't do it or seek to do it the way someone else has already done it, or how
That's
it's
right.
being done.
How it's been done.
And sometimes we, in our culture as African Americans, we tend to do things that are safe. We tend to do things that have been done before, instead of starting from scratch and creating it from the ground up.
Right.
Because oftentimes we want instant gratification. We want instant verification and validation.
And we don't want to fail.
Right.
We think, and that's the first thing we think of sometimes, that we will fail.
Right.
And that's not necessarily true. Even in the failures, even in that, there's growth. There's so much you can learn from yourself and from that situation. So don't look at that. I wanted to acknowledge my sister Ada. My sister Ada is on, and I wanted to acknowledge you and just say thank you. Thank you for coming on. And I want to also say what she said. She said, if God has given you the vision, he will make the provision. Just move.
Yes.
Thank you, sis.
Yes.
Exactly. Just move. Like my husband said, you might not know everything to do, but move in something that you do know.
Yes.
Start from there. Study, research, get all the necessary tools that you can get, and start working it. Start doing what God has told you to do.
I think about Nike, who has built their company
That's perfect.
on their motto, their catchphrase, just do it. Right? You don't have to gather all the resources. You ain't got to try to figure it all out. You ain't got to write a million plans and thick business plans. You ain't got to do all that. Just do it.
Yeah, start.
Just begin and start, and allow the growth to happen, and allow other people who are resourceful,
Right.
other people who are resourceful and have something to add.
Right.
Let them bring the more
That's right.
to what it is that you're starting.
That's right. Absolutely. We can't do it all. You know, at the same time, we want, you know, to have someone there. And don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out to people that might have the resources, the information that you need in order to get started.
And let's hit on that though, real quick, before we get out of here.
Like mentors.
Mentors, yes, mentors, coaches. You know, these are people that are offering their services or their time for you.
Yes.
right? So we need to stop thinking that, oh, they're trying to get something from me. No, oftentimes if they're legit and they're real, they're trying to get something to you, right? So we need to be, we got to stop being afraid to lock arms with people who know what we don't know.
Right. You guys, we're in a time now where we have to lock arms.
Yeah.
We have to. God wants us to lock arms and come together. And together we can build something that is great.
Right.
We weren't supposed to do this as a lone ranger.
Right.
We were supposed to do this together. You know, what pieces you have that can connect to the pieces that I have.
Exactly.
And that brings everything together. So you guys start looking into that. Stop being afraid to reach out and to reach out to people that might have the answer or the resources that you need.
And reach out to people who are knowledgeable
Right.
in the thing where you may be depleted and may
Right.
not be as knowledgeable in.
That's right.
And don't be so prideful that you don't go to them. Right? And that's one thing that we're seeing that's a detriment to our community and to people everywhere, is that we're so afraid to admit that I need you.
Right.
We're afraid to admit that I don't know everything in this area.
And we don't.
And we don't. It's like, for me, if I have a fine automobile, Rolls Royce, right, and I bought that Rolls Royce, and something happens to it where it needs maintenance or it needs a tune-up or an oil change, I'm not finna get under the hood and do an oil change on a Rolls Royce. I'm not skilled in doing that. So I would rather go to someone who specializes in Rolls Royces and doing oil changes in a Rolls Royce,
Right.
and I'm willing to pay them for their expertise for something that I don't necessarily know how to do.
Right.
And so what I'm saying is, lock arms with people.
Yes.
Don't be afraid. Don't be so prideful. Don't be so haughty where you're not willing to humble yourself and admit, you know what, this person has what I need. Let me go speak.
We need each
Let me go introduce myself. Let me go let them know that I need them in some capacity.
Yes.
And you'll be surprised what people will be willing to help you and do for you if you just make yourself available.
It's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
All right. So you
Yes.
guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the first episode of Living More with the Morgans. If you haven't already, go to the Facebook page for the podcast. You'll find it at Living More Morgans, or you can search Living More with the Morgans. Like us, follow us, send it to friends, and then you can jump on Twitter. We're also available on Twitter at twitter.com/Live More Morgans, or you can search Living More with the Morgans as well on Twitter. And then on YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. So you guys, share, hit it up, go to YouTube, type in Living More with the Morgans, and you can definitely find our channel there. We want to see you. More content is coming. And then I think we like the Tuesday night. What do you think?
What do you guys think?
What do you guys think? Is Tuesday night cool?
You know, yeah, I like it.
Okay.
You know, you guys put
But you
it
guys
in the
let us know
comments.
if Tuesday night is good. Tuesday night 8 o'clock Central Time. If Tuesday works,
Yes,
then we'll do Tuesday.
we'll do Tuesday.
All right, you guys.
We're
So
looking
let us
forward
know.
to it.
Hit the inbox. Let us know what you think about everything. We appreciate so many of you guys tuning in on the debut premiere episode of Living More with the Morgans. You guys have a great night. We love you. Peace.
Love you.
Oh, I love you more.
I love you too.
I love you. Yeah.
Anyway,
Is the microphone still on?
it's still on.
They can still hear us?
Bro, yeah.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can.
They can't hear us.
Y'all hear us.
What you talking about there? Oh, y'all can hear us. Oh,
They
okay.
can hear us. Our
I'm sorry.
sons too.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right, you guys. So y'all have a good night. Peace. I'm finna go do what I gotta do. Holla.
Bye. Love you guys. Love you.